Welcome back to Her Standards. Today we are doing some housekeeping. We are hosted at the James Suites, Riverside Serviced Apartments, a beautiful place for staycations, for conferences, for lunches, for dinners, name it. I'm joined by a panel. We are talking about domestic workers, the plight of domestic workers, how to relate with them. How can we get along, and why is it that we keep hearing of horror tales associated with domestic workers? Now, before we took the break, we were looking at the sensitive issue of pay. How much do we pay our domestic workers? What is the minimum wage? And in the event that things change, what are we supposed to do? So, ladies, karibuni sana.
Thank you.
We're just going to pick up the discussion from that point. And, you know, I can only imagine when you're used to having your own tightly knit family time together with your spouse, possibly, and a child or two, and then you realize that all of a sudden you need to bring in a help in form of a domestic worker. And you've just employed them, and you probably don't know where they have come from. So how does that span out for you? Like, how do you relate with her right from the day you have hired her? Rhoda, I know you've had domestic work for probably the longest on the panel, yes? Yes.
It's not easy. It's tough, eh?
Why is it tough?
Because this is a new member. Umezoea kukaa na your family, your hubby, and maybe one child.
Yeah.
And now you need a house help, eh? Ametoka from maybe a different background. Training her, vile unataka vitu ziendelee kwa nyumba. You want this, you want that. This is how you cook your food.
Yeah.
This is how you do your dishes.
Hii ni choo, una flash hivi.
Hii ni choo, you know, most of them, those days walikuwa kutoka nyumbani. So hii ni choo. This is how you clean it. Hivi ndio una flash. Hivi ndio tunafaa kupanga nyumba. You know, it was challenging. And tena kuleta, tuseme outsider, kutoka different place. Amewajoin in a family. That period kuzoea, it's also challenging. So, tukaendelea, unatafuta huyu, maybe anaenda, you still look for another one. Yeah.
Unajua umesema tunaendelea kuishi nao, wengine wanaenda, wengine wanarudi. So my question is, have you ever had an experience with a bad house help, or one who mistreated your family, or mistreated a family of your friends?
Okay. I really try to create a good environment, yes, in my house, because at the end of the day, nitamwachia watoto, na ndiye naacha na most of the things in my house. You know, like you'll hear some stories like mtu akisema, me, I lock my bedroom, but unaona umemwachia mtoto. So a house help is a very important person in our lives, in our homes. Yes.
What is the right thing to do? Do you tuachie
No.
kila kitu, bedroom?
No. That environment, when you create a good environment with your house helps, shida huwa si nyingi sana kwa nyumba. Yes.
Talking of limits, Judith, unaona kama ni kiwango gani tunafaa kuachilia wasichana wakiishi na sisi? Wanafaa kukaa na mzee, tuseme kwa sitting room, wanaweza kula na mzee, wanaweza mpakulia chakula, unaonaje? Huo uhusiano unafaa kuwa vipi?
Mimi naona kama mimi housemaid natakana apike, alete chakula kwa meza. After kuleta chakula kwa meza, mama ndiye apakue mzee.
Na kama hayuko, kama mama ako kazini,
naona hizo ndiye inaletanga problem. Kwa sababu yes, mimi ni mama, si ndio? Kwa wasichana unaandika msichana mdogo, si ndio? Na msichana ni mrembo. Sasa wewe unasinda tu kwa kasi, msichana ndiye anabaki na mzee kwa nyumba. Yeye ndiye anapiga pasi, yeye ndiye anajua vile mzee anakula, Unajua iko vitu zingine mzee lazima aulize mama, kitu yangu iko wapi? Sasa anauliza tu msichana badala aulize mama. Lazima hata kama uko busy na mina gani, nimejua lazima uchukue time. Hata sisi tunaendanga kibarua, lazima uchukue time ya nyumba, lazima uchukue time, kwa sababu huyo msichana ndiye anashinda na mzee wako kwa nyumba. Sasa unajua watu ni different, sio tabia yangu ndio tabia yule, tabia iko tofauti. Umepata wewe, unaweza kufikiri umepata msichana wa kazi, kumbe yeye pia ako na target.
To add on that, I think even as employers, tuna relax sana. Tunaachia our house helps everything. Families are different. Now like mine, utapata kuna wale typical African men, siwezi saviwa na house help, you know, and which is okay, it's fine, eh? So as employers pia sisi tunawapea duties zenye hawafai kufanya. As African, as human beings, house helps are human beings like us. They are our sisters, they are our cousins. So pia sisi tusiende sana, tunafaa pia tukue na limits. Hapa ndio anafaa kufika. Yes. If you have time, and you should also create time for your family, that is as far as I'm concerned. Mi usema, even tuseme like bedroom, house help hafai kuosha bedroom yako, hafai kupiga pasi nguo za mzee. There are so many things that house helps hafai kufanya. Yes, tumerelax sana, tukijificha kwa we are working. You can also create some time, spare time with ufanye vitu zako kwa bedroom, usaidie msichana pia, they are human beings. Yes.
Dorcas, umesikia vile gumzo inaendelea?
Yes.
Naona kama tumefunguka sana. We are talking about the limits. How far do we allow our house helps freedom? Do we allow them into our bedrooms? Do we allow them to serve the man of the house? What should they look like in the house in terms of even the outfits that they wear? So does this form part and parcel of that contract that you talked about? Do we have to spell these things out such that tukijikuta mahali we don't say, you know, this one caught me flat-footed, alichukua mzee wangu, sijui alifanya nini? How do we deal with that?
Now, when I initially talked of contract,
Yes.
stipulating everything, the job description, that's why I said it saves you a lot, you know. Have a contract, be very specific on the work the domestic worker is going to do. Cleaning the utensils, the house, maybe these rooms, these are the rooms you're going to clean, these are the clothes you're going to iron. You have what you need to do is make the food, put it on the dining table, and then everyone will serve for herself if I'm not around, if the wife is, and all that. When you are very specific with your contract, then some of these problems are going to be limited. If you are too much insecure as a woman of the house, having uniform, to me, if it is going to save a problem, I'll be very fine with it, right? But again, do not put me in a uniform and then you treat me like that person in that uniform, right? Like you want to carry me as a kid, right? Yes, I'll be in a uniform and let us have a mutual respect. And let me also follow the contract you've given me and all that. Yeah, what Madam Rhoda has said is that most of the employers, the women employers have relaxed, which is very true. And they've made their homes break intentionally, and then they'll blame the domestic worker. Right? As much as what the domestic worker is probably doing is not
How is that? How are they to blame for the problem at home?
For example, you've gone for example, I'll say a week or for 3 days, 2 days. You've left your husband with your domestic worker.
Okay.
This person is also a human being, right? And also we do have a situation whereby an employer, you see, because of his superiority, will want to throw some things to the domestic worker, you know, and because of the fear and all that. And the male employer thinking that I'm the owner of the house and my wife is not here. You know, that's when we also hear the stories of harassment, sexual harassment. I do not advocate for domestic workers to go around breaking people's families.
Yeah.
But again, at times they find themselves in situations which are too hard to maybe get off, you know? Yeah, and then
Everything goes.
yeah, but that as an employee, that is the wrong thing you can ever do. If you feel that this pressure is too much from the opposite sex, at times you even get it from the female happening. If you feel that it is like you do not want it, it is too much to you, get out.
You know, Dorcas, you have given us the regulations, the guidelines. This is what you need to do. Point A, sign a contract, you know, get to know this person, give them a good salary. Sometimes as employers, we do all those things. And what happens is that in our home state, we still end up with the wrong households. We have seen them. We have seen it in news, you know, domestic managers who have molested the children that they've been entrusted with. Some of them have even murdered those children. Others have done interesting things when they are minding the children. And it begs the question, what do we need to do? How do we ensure that we don't end up with these tags of house helps from hell? You know, some people say nanny something, nanny bastard. There's so many names. There are even Facebook groups that have been dedicated specifically to out nannies or domestic managers who have had bad experiences with their employers. How do we deal with this thing? Because unless we deal with it, then we still have a long way to go. These people are here to stay with us. How do we deal with this bad relationship, frosty relationship? How do we fix it?
Personally, I've never had such a bad experience, but I've seen it, I've had it, and what I'll say, I think it's personality. Mtu tu ako hivyo. Yes, I think ni personality ya mtu. You can employ a very beautiful house manager, unamlipa vizuri na bado unaona bado tu. Yes.
Sasa unafanyaje? Na bado uko na watoto wadogo wanafaa kwenda shule, uko na kazi, uko na nini? Sasa unafanyaje kama mwanamke?
The best thing is just to terminate. When you see the red flags, it's good to terminate the contract.
And what in your experience hizi red flags zinakuwa kama nini?
Red flags. You know, as an employer, bado kuna challenges na our house managers. You, like asubuhi unaweza amka and then she just decides that she's going. No, unaenda kazi. You are ready. Na anakuambia anaenda. You know, saa zingine unapata wengine umeamka vizuri but amekasirika. You know. So watu wako tofauti. Hizi challenges.
So wewe ukiona hizo challenges uzichukue haraka haraka umwambie.
When you see any red flag, afadhali tu mwambie. Let's terminate this.
Na bureaus wanasaidia. Do you think it is tuachane na hii tabia ya kuchukua wasichana kutoka kila mahali? Tuzichukue mahali ambapo tunaweza wa hold accountable. Ama namna gani?
Okay, some of the bureaus wale nimepata wasichana from them. Ukimwelezea about the house help, most of them wana change. Wanakutafutia mwingine, wanabadilisha. Yes.
So it's a safer option.
Yeah, it's a safer option than our kutoa anywhere, mahali ujui. Yes.
Judy, tu unaonaje hii maneno?
Unajua mimi sana sana nafanyanga kazi ya kibarua. Kazi ya mwezi sijaifanya.
Lakini kulingana na unavyohusiana na wenzako, wale ambao wanafanya kazi na wewe, wale ambao wameshafanya hii 1 month, unaona ni jinsi gani tunaweza fanya kazi, tushirikiane pamoja kama wale wameandika kazi na wale wanafanyia kazi. Ni nini tunaweza fanya, yani ili tuishi tu vizuri, kwa sababu sisi ni binadamu. Mwisho wa mwezi sisi, at the end of the day sisi ni binadamu. Na tunahitajiana na kuhitaji kama mfanyikazi na wewe unanihitaji kama employer wako. Unaona tunaweza fanya nini?
Unaona? Yes, bureau pia ni mzuri, lakini bureau ni ngumu kwa watu wasichana wengine. Maybe ulikuwa unaishi na cousin na unaishi kwa mateso, si ndio? Sasa unaona, unapata wamama wanakaa, si ndio? Unauliza hao wamama wanafanya nini hapa? Hati hao wamama wanangoja kazi. Umesema hata mimi wacha leo niende nikaa na hao mama, nimeweza kupata juu una pesa kwa biro, kama unaenda lazima ulipe pesa ndio upange line. Na unalipa pesa na unapanga line. Saa zingine line watu wa 10 iko mbele yako. Mimi sasa enda mpaka kwa biro, mpaka nililipa pesa niliwacha, kwa sababu nimepanga line bado nikawacha, ndio nikaenda kukaa Valley Arcade. Sasa kwa biro pia ni problem. Sasa inalingana tu na tabia. Unaweza kupata mtu mzuri.
Na nini unaweza ambia hao wasichana ambao wanatafuta kazi, hata kama ni watu wa per day ama ni watu wanatafuta kazi ya mwezi, wale ambao wamefanikiwa wakapata kazi, unaweza waambia nini?
Mimi chenye nimeweza kusema, kumwambia hao wasichana wenye wamepata kazi, mtu kama umepata kazi, fanya kazi yako mzuri. Kama ni kungoja mtoto, yes, kazi ni tofauti. Unaweza kwenda kazi kungoja mtoto, si ndio? Sasa wengine wako hapo mpaka wapizi, wenye wanasoma kupika. Basi kama ni kungoja mtoto, enda ungoje mtoto, ulee mtoto vizuri, mtu aone kazi yako ni mzuri. Ndio kesho, kama mimi kibarua, si ndio? Nimeweza saa zingine msichana wake akungoja mtoto ameenda yako leave, si ndio? So unajua unaweza kufanya 3 days ama one week. Unajua kazi yako mzuri ndio inafanya atakuja. Atauliza nataka Judy yako wapi, anakaa wapi? Kwa sababu kazi yako mzuri. Hasa message yenye nimeweza kutuma kwa wasichana wenye anafanya kazi. Kama unaenda kufanya kazi kwa nyumba ya mtu, fanya kazi mzuri. Kama unaenda kufanya kazi, fanya kazi yenye inakupeleka kwa hiyo nyumba. Hiyo ndio message.
Asante sana. Asante sana Judy. Umesikia, kama unafanya kazi, enda ufanye ile kazi imekupeleka.
Kwa sababu nimejua wasichana, yes, tuko na wasichana hata Valley Arcade mali tunakaa. Tuko na wasichana wa mama, tuna mixed. Tuko wengi sana. I think hao walikuja tuletea chakula, waliona. Tuko wengi, watu 100. Sasa unajua, huwezi jua roho ya mtu. Kama mimi Judy, mimi nilienda kutafutia watoto wangu. Watoto wakule, watoto wasome. Sasa mwingine wasichana wako hapo. Sasa ujui yule ni nini amemleta hapo. Ndio kwa sababu nimesema, unajua nasema wamama pia hawa wadosi pia wasirelax sana. Kwa sababu unajua unachukua msichana, ujui unapeleka kwa nyumba yako ako na nia gani.
Lucas, naona una smile.
Yes, I want to add something. Now, most of the time, to avoid all that, the employers should embrace social dialogue. Once you employ a domestic worker, it is good after you've shown the person the kind of work she's supposed to do, the areas you should 1, 2, 3. Make sure that you sit down with this person, tell her that this is how I want you to behave, right? I do not want to see you just sad for no good reason. You do not want to talk. You are not giving me, like, you are not talking out the problem. You're just there, sad, mad, and all that. Social dialogue will solve that problem.
Does it have a limit? Am I allowed to tell her, I don't like seeing you sharing the living room with the man of the house? Or rules are rules.
If that will bring harmony in the house, as long as you do it in a very respectful way, I will say that those are the rules of the house. And as much as you've respected her, you've talked to her in the right way, I have no problem with that. Yeah, because you also, as an employer, you also want situations whereby the things in the house are moving smoothly. Yeah, you do not, you do not want your family to break, and at the same time, you do not want to lose this person. So that's social dialogue. When you see her maybe sad, try to talk to her. What is the problem? If the kids are the problem, try to talk to your kids. You know, at times I've seen like some of my friends. You go visiting someone and then can I get a glass of water? Rhoda, can you, you know? And then if she takes a minute, you want to be mad, and probably the person was cutting the onion. Probably the onion was burning out, you know? Yeah, so...
You need to have that mutual respect.
Yes.
Treat them as human beings.
Try to get to understand what has made her behave the way she has behaved.
Now, talking of treating them as human beings, you know, COVID-19 came and it changed a lot of dynamics, how we do business. And I'm sure COVID-19 even impacted how we relate with our house managers. Most of us actually suffered pay cuts. How do we translate that? How do we let it trickle down to our house help? Do we also chop their salaries? How do we deal with the leave situation? And as a matter of fact, how many leave days are these people supposed to get?
No, I would say that number one, it is very illegal to deduct someone's salary, right? But again, situations come, and you must cope with the situations. Now you've been terminated or your pay has been cut. You have to pay the rent, you have to pay the school fees and all that. And probably you are the single mother or single parent, let me put it that way. Don't cut or deduct the salary of this domestic worker without her knowledge. She's a human being, she understands. And be very true, you know, this is what has happened, you know, and if things are going to be, if things will work again well, we shall go back to the same area we were, and I will probably compensate the deduction I have made. But I've noted that most of the employers are taking advantage of the COVID-19 situation.
In what sense?
Someone has not been terminated. The person has not even received a pay cut, all right? And then, just because she has heard others say that my salary has been cut, what, she wants now to pretend to be that other person, something which is not fair, you know? Yeah. And that's why I said that if employers can get hold of these legal documents, the Employment Act, the Bill of Rights, then we shall, the two of them, the relationship will be very smooth and the things will work out very well, you know? Yeah, because what I say is when most of the time I'm talking to my friends who most of the time will call me and like, Dorcas, you know, come and help me. What should I do? I'll tell you, like, I base my arguments in the law. Because if you're brought to my office,
that is
you're done. You won't even talk of Dorcas there, you know? Let us treat these people with dignity. Let us respect domestic work. Let us respect domestic workers.
How many days should we give them as days off?
In every 7 days worked, according to the Employment Act, the person should get at least 1 day off.
24 hours?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes. And don't tell me, most of the time you get that domestic workers are normally given off days on Sundays.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't tell domestic workers to cook tea, to prepare tea, wash the house before they leave for church and their other businesses.
And come back and make dinner.
You know? Yeah. So when the person does that, then it is automatic that the person has not
rested.
Yes. Okay. And then you have to compensate for that day.
And how many leave days should they have annually?
Now, for every 12 months worked, the person should at least enjoy at least 21 days leave.
Thank you so much. I hope you're listening. We're having a discussion on living with our domestic managers and our domestic workers. I'm joined by a wonderful panel. They're opening up about their experiences and what needs to happen, the ideal thing to do as we interact with the housemates. Before we wind up, one final thing. What is your opinion on nanny cams, cameras? Rhoda, as we wind up, just 1 second, and then we'll come to Judith, and then we come to Dorcas, then we wind up.
Nanny cams are good, but personally, I would not need one, because if you can trust a house help with your house and your baby, So you can imagine you've left your house girl there with your baby and your house. Why do you need a camera?
Okay, I'm gonna end your contribution from there. Let's talk to Judith. Camera, unaonaje? Should we have cameras in the house? Ama haina haja?
Naona kama mtu sasa trust ufanye tu kazi, sio lazima kuwe na kamera, kwa sababu wengine wanaweka kamera lakini bado atafanya tu vituko.
Atafanya tu vituko. Haya, asante Dorcas.
No, I would say that you can have your cameras. You know, when you are having cameras, it is not mostly or all the time about domestic worker, probably for security. But again, if you have it because of domestic worker, kindly respect her dignity, respect her privacy and all that. Do not even have that camera in her bedroom, because she goes, takes baths, and then has to undress to put on other. Respect her privacy with your cameras. Put your cameras in areas probably you think that they're important to you. Maybe for security purposes, and also probably you want to see what is happening in the house. That's what I'd say.
Well. That has been her standards today. We are in the Home Affairs Department. We are trying to put our ducks in a row. We are having a very pertinent, discussing about a pertinent issue. How do we interact with our house managers? How do we treat them? How do they treat us? What is the right thing to do? I was joined by an amazing panel. Thank you so much, Rhoda, Judith, Dorcas, for taking time to join us. Asanteni sana. And you seated at home, who has been keeping up with her standards throughout the seasons, we just want to say thank you so much. And we hope that our conversations have been enlightening to you, and you are learning at least one thing or two, and your life is not the same. Today, we are hosted at the Gemswoods Riverside Service Apartments. Very beautiful place where you can have your family, you can have your friends over, conferences, work meetings, and so on and so forth. Do not hesitate to, just drop by and have a good time. Now, we were talking about domestic workers and their plight and how we need to live with them. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of this discussion. But as usual, we say we don't have to end this discussion here. You can join us on social media at KTN Home across all media platforms, or you can talk to me directly at Queenie Mbori on Facebook, Instagram, as well as Queenie Saina on Twitter, or connect with me as Quinta Mbori on LinkedIn. We are very excited to have you on board. Till next time, please stay safe, take care of yourself, and remember to have this discussion with your house help. You never know where it will lead to.